Hey, welcome everybody to Arcane Wednesday. I'm your host, DM Gallibond. And today on Arcane Wednesday for May 20th, 2020, we are going to be looking at the spell Evard's Black Tentacles. Now you notice that uh, on the title page here, it talks about just plain old black tentacles, but there's an interesting story behind that for 5th edition. And that is that when they wanted to release the free beginner's kit to the game, the basic rules, if you will, as a free product for 5th edition, they realize that they have some names that are tied to spells in the lore of D&D that actually have copyrights associated with them. So, in other words, every time Wizards of the Coast sells something or publishes something that has Evard's Black Tentacles or Mordenkainen's or some of these other names, they oftentimes have to pay royalties to the writer or the gamer or the founder back from TSR's days uh, you know, who was associated with this particular spell and who originated it into the game. So when they went to publish the free edition, they said, okay, well, we're just going to call it in the free edition Black Tentacles. And then when they got around to writing and publishing and selling the actual player's handbook, then lo and behold, the name Evard's Black Tentacles shows up again because, they publish it, they sell it, they get money coming in, they can go ahead and pay those royalties. If they're just giving stuff away, they're not getting any money in it. And if they printed the name Evard or Mordenkainen's or whatever, then they would have to pay royalties on that. So let's take a look at the actual spell in question. So Evard's Black Tentacles is a 4th level conjuration spell, and it can be out as far as 90 feet away from the caster, and it will cause an area 20 foot square, 20 by 20, not 20 square feet, but 20 foot by 20 foot square, to erupt in a mass of ebony squirming tentacles that makes the ground difficult terrain and will grasp and hold anybody that walks through it. Furthermore, it will do bludgeoning damage to them when they walk in there, and it causes a strength check against your spell save DC to break out of that and get away. This one does require material components, and those components are tentacle from a giant octopus or a giant squid, and it's not the whole tentacle, just a piece of the tentacle. And this is available to both warlocks or sorcerers and to wizards. So if you have the Great Old One patron, or if you have the Lurker in the Deep patron, which is Unearthed Arcana, then you can take this spell as well. So let's go and look back through the history of the game and see where this spell actually came from and how it's changed. Well, it first showed up in 2nd edition in the player's handbook as a wizard spell called Evard's Black Tentacles. Range is 30 yards, so yes, 90 feet. Now the duration, 1 hour per level. Let's see, the duration today is 1 minute, and it costs concentration. 2nd edition didn't cost concentration, and it lasted 1 hour per caster level. It was still a 4th level spell. So, and the area of effect was a square that is 30 feet on a side for every level of the caster. So, 30 square feet per level of the caster. That's a big difference. 30 square feet is a 5 by 6 square. And then for every for every level, you add another 5 by 6. So, 10 by 12, and then 15 by 18, and then so on and so on and so on. And the material components again, piece of a tentacle from a giant octopus or giant squid, and it takes a round to cast. And in this case, there was no saving throw. So they spring forth from the earth. Each tentacle is 10 feet long, AC 4, as many points of damage to destroy as the level of the wizard casts a spell. So if you're a 12th level wizard, they have 12 hit points. And then 1d4 such tentacles plus 1 for every experience level of the caster. And then there's 1d4 points of damage from contacting the tentacle. And then if they don't save, it's 2d4 points, and it wraps around the subject, and damage will be 3d4 points on the second and all succeeding rounds until the tentacles are destroyed. And they're not intelligent, so they just grab hold and start squeezing, and it doesn't matter if they're squeezing an inanimate object or something that's already dead. They'll still just squeeze it until the time elapses for the spell. So, yeah, second edition, this was a lot nastier and lasted a lot longer. Okay, so let's take a look at third level and see what it looked like there. So, third level was available to sorcerers and wizards. So again, it's a fourth level spell. Material components, I'm going to guess piece of a tentacle from giant octopus or giant squid, absolutely. One standard action. Range was medium, so 100 feet from the caster plus 10 feet per level. And the area is a 20-foot radius spread. So it's you pick a point, and then it's a 20-foot radius. So that's whatever pi r squared. So radius is 20. 20 squared is 400 times pi. 1,200 square feet, something like that, in a circle. Just, it's a little bit more than that, but just rounding it off. And then the duration is only 1 round per level. So the tentacles are 10 feet long, and they spring forth from the earth, and they wrap around creatures. Base attack bonus equal to your caster level and a strength score of 19. Grapple check modifier is equal to your caster level plus 8. Once tentacles grapple, then each round on your turn it deals 1d6 plus 4 points of bludgeoning damage. And they continue to crush an opponent until the spell ends or an opponent escapes. So, yes, these did not require concentration in the earlier editions. And this one didn't last as long as 5th edition does, or potentially didn't last as long. So 1 round per level, that would be, let me see. 10 rounds is a minute, and you need to be, what level do you need to have 4th level spells? You need to be 9th level, right? So you get 1st, 3rd, 5th. No, you need it to be only 7th level. So you could potentially see a shorter duration, but most people with 4th level spells are probably 10th level or higher. And so that was how the spell was in 3rd edition. Now this spell, unlike a lot of them, did make the transition from 3rd edition to 4th edition, and it was a wizard attack power. So Evard's Black Tentacles, and so uh, this was a daily power. So necrotic energy. The tentacles are made of necrotic energy, bursts from the ground, grasping towards every creature within reach. Um, area burst 4 within 10 squares. Each creature in the burst. On a hit, it does 2d10 plus intelligence modifier necrotic damage, and the target is immobilized. And then burst creates a zone of difficult terrain that lasts until the end of your turn. And when you sustain the power using a minor action, repeat the attack against any creature within the zone that is not immobilized and deal 1d10 necrotic damage to creatures that are already immobilized. So they all have this ongoing damage component to them. And, you know, we've said before that the stats in 4th edition are all skewed. So 2d10 plus intelligence, that sounds like a lot of damage compared to what the other versions of the spell do. But it's actually kind of in line with the fact that there's inflated hit points and oftentimes inflated armor classes in 4th edition as compared to the other editions. And putting this at 19, that means, of course, you don't get access to the spell until you're level 19. All right, well, that is going to do it for our look at Evard's Black Tentacles for this week. I would be really curious if you're a player, how, a time that you have used Ever's Black Tentacles to great effect, or as a DM, a story that you might have on Ever's Black Tentacles. If you like what we're doing, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and ring the bell there. That will let you know every time we post new content to this channel. Go ahead, leave us some feedback in the comments, any spells you'd like us to look at, or just any kind of cool stories you have about a spell that we have done. Would be greatly appreciated. All right. You can also find all the information about how you can follow me on the various channels that I do in the description of this video below. All right, everybody, take care, and we will see you back here tomorrow for Divine Thursday. Have a wonderful evening, and we will talk to you later.